Yes, sir. Don't come in. I need a lot more. Don't you need more sweet?
I have all the work hours of sweet left.
You do, you know. You have the worst hours of anybody I ever heard of.
I know it. All night long on that in New York.
You get double time for night work?
Not with this wages and hours administration.
I think you ought to be sitting about it with.
I do. I have to tack them every now and then.
John Barrymore's busted this week.
Financially?
Yeah. From the settlement to his creditors. Think you ought to take care of him?
Yes, sir. Leave him to alone.
Huh?
Leave him to alone. Fixed it. All right.
I think you ought to give him a job somewhere. I don't think there's any particular news. I have Friday tomorrow night, you know, Monday, we have the 11 o'clock at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and a little fairly short speech after that, about 10 minutes.
At the tomb?
Well, no, at the amphitheater.
Amphitheater.
And then on Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock, we lay the cornerstones in the hospital. And then next week, sometime, I don't know what, Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that, I think I'll get on board the USS Potomac and go down the river 3 or 4 days and sleep. And read a lot of documents that haven't been read the last 2 weeks.
You're speaking of the Naval Hospital, sir?
Yeah.
So, in that connection, have you anything to do with the disposition of the present Naval Hospital site in Georgetown, or at least down here a ways? They're a beautiful site for somebody, and I was wondering whether the government was going to build a building there or have it as a park. Have you any news?
Well, the only thing, there's no disposition of it yet, of course. It still is allocated to the Navy Department. But the architects have been working on a really lovely design. This would take congressional action, of course, by which the new War Department on its west end would have some kind of a, let's call it a colonnade, with perhaps offices over it that would tie in at the base of the hill, the south base of the hill, tie in the War Department with the new Navy Department building. And that being halfway between the two buildings would be occupied by joint organizations like the Joint Force, tying the two defense departments together. Then the hill itself, according to these architectural or landscape plans, would be turned into a park. It would be a very lovely thing.
Mr. President, I think the country would like to know whether you were closer than Mr. Gallup on your electoral vote.
I was way off, Pete.
Well,
I was way off. My guess was made, way back about the 1st of August, wasn't it? And I saw no cause No reason at any time in the campaign to change it. It was 340 for me.
340.
Yeah. I was well off.
Mr. President, have you made any property in regard to the House?
What?
Have you made any property in regard to the House, amendments to the House?
No, except that I never put any figures down. I never was as worried as some other people were.
But you didn't have any figures
Were.
on the
No,
law.
no. And basing the thing more or less on that 340 up there at Hyde Park, you know, they boys had a little pool on different sections and I lost them all.
Mr. President, what state surprised you?
Huh?
What state surprised you?
Well, about 110 votes would. What? No.
Mr. President, the Pan American Union Governing Board, representing 21 American nations, congratulated you unanimously on your election and expressed the view that the vote was an endorsement of the good neighbor policy.
Well, that was awfully nice of them. I think they probably were correct.
Mr. President, did you get anything from Mr. Mussolini?
No?
The city got something from Marcus Petan.
No? I don't know. It may be here, Constantine, but I haven't. No?
There have been suggestions from the public and the press and conversation that you might...
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3.
And I do have to warn everybody off the record that this kind of a story is silly, but I love it, yeah. Oh, yes. That some cabinet changes were likely was reported in New Deal circles. Now, what I want to emphasize that it was not reported in New Deal circles, it was written in this particular office. And also, the next sentence, it was said in official quarters that the resignation of the Secretary of War and so forth. It was not said in official quarters, it was written in that office.
Is that off the record, sir?
No, you can use that for one.
Well, Mr. President, as a matter of defense, personal defense, every time I ask you a question, you pick up a newspaper, somebody says that's a planted question.
It wasn't. I
Please
assure you. Yeah. I'm sorry, well, it was not a planted question.
I happen to be well informed, that's all.
Is there anything possible that was... Well, the question is this. Oughtn't you to go back to grade school and learn English? It's perfectly clear to me and almost everybody else in this country. Well, read it. I'm not teaching you English. Read it. Well, read it again. It is a statement. It is a statement. I'm perfectly plain English. Read it again.
Mr. President, last night in Hawaii voted 2-1 for statehood. Would you care to indicate whether you have any tentative opinion or general information in that regard?
No, I have no information on that at all.
Mr. President, is there anything that you have in mind now that would require the attention of Congress between this time and the 1st of January?
I can't tell you because I haven't seen the congressional leaders yet. I think most of them were away, and I suppose they'll be back on Monday, and I'll see them then.
Mr. President, would you comment on the report of the Union
I don't think that originated from any place in the administration.
Mr. President, there was you met yesterday with the Defense Commission, and we were told afterwards the priority for this meeting they might go into this 12,000 plane order for Britain. Is there anything developing? definitely yet on that.
I wouldn't put it that way. You see, the priorities board will not take up things like completed articles, like a plane, which is a completed article. They will take up, in the first instance, certain component parts of which there might be shortages that go into a completed article. In other words, let's try to think the way they would. Suppose, for the sake of argument, there were orders for 12,000 planes. First, they look into the question of the manufacturing facilities, the buildings and the labor, skilled labor, and the assembly end of it, and the the short things that we were about, especially raw materials, to get it on time to the line. Great. Yesterday we talked about the steel situation. Probably this through the winter, like spring, there won't be any ingot shortage. In other words, there's enough ore on hand to make ingots of, to keep that going. On the other hand, there might be a shortage of manufacturing facilities for some steel process. After the ingots are all melted down, there might be a shortage of rolling facilities or stamping facilities or something of that kind. So that's what the priorities board is doing at the present time, to check on the primal bottlenecks, the bottom of the line.
Mr. President, in first revealing this request for 12,000 airplanes, you said that the Defense Commission would have been asked to give it sympathetic consideration.
Yes.
Has that sympathetic consideration resulted in a fixed decision as to whether those
Not yet.
legislation?
Not yet.
Mr. President, has anything to be said about Mr. Kennedy as to whether or not he will go back to London? Any news on that?
No. He's carrying on and giving us some very valuable information.
Well, there was a suggestion from somewhere that he was going to remain here and go into the defense work. I don't know whether
Well, we're just talking to him. We probably will be in touch with him a good deal in the next few weeks on information that he has and advice.
Mr. President, on account of words I got from Buffalo, it seems that when you make your trip there, if you qualify, it's pretty much an expert. Larry Bell, of course, saying that he never had anybody asking so many technical and understanding questions about airplane production. Can you tell us anything about what you thought about the two plants up there at your visit?
Well, I thought they were getting on awfully well. I don't pretend to be an expert, but having started in on the problem of industrial output in the year 1913, I know some of the major questions that ought to be asked to bring out the needs of manufacturing plants.
President, what happened to your idea of locating steel industry on the West Coast?
They're going ahead with that. They're turning out more and more of certain types of steel and trying already they're studying putting in manufacture of other types of steel out there. As for instance, you take this new plant up on the Columbia River, aluminum. It's hoped that they'll be able to utilize the aluminum billets that they make out there, do the manufacturing there instead of shipping them east, and then the finished aluminum back west again.
Well, two grants, use the word priorities, on completed articles to which the government was not yet taken title. Such as airplanes. Is that possible that Britain could get airplanes almost completed and they would already be turned over and the plane being built in the United States, but we haven't taken title yet?
Well, that has nothing to do with priorities.
That's not under priority score.
No.
But who would make a decision in that case? The Army Navy?
Well, it'd probably come up with the Army Navy to me. I suppose it has in the past.
So is there any movement along that line now?
No.
Mr.
I'll
President.
tell you, there's one thing which I think it might as well. I think you can print it. I think it's all right. We have, you know, I very often call the rule of thumb